we see Umi quietly eating her little bowl of rice all by herself, peaceful as can be, until suddenly, a man in a suit shows up without saying a single word and goes straight into her room. Later on, in the present, we see her eating with Harry. A big change. Looks like the girl is finally starting to let out all those bottled up traumas. That same day, Kyuko tells Harry not to worry about work and to just go explore the island. After all, it's not like he came with the goal of helping her or anything. So far, all he's done is eat, sleep, and ride around on his bike hunting waifus. And right during one of those rides to the bay, he runs into a mysterious waifu. They don't interact, but she's definitely gonna get the full spotlight later. The one he does talk to is Shiroha, who's there as usual, just kind of existing. Harry's already picked up on the fact that his presence makes her uncomfortable, so he decides to walk away. But to his surprise, Shiroha thanks him for the advice he gave her at the pool the day before. Apparently, it actually helped. After that, they go their separate ways. Harry heads to a shrine to ask the Virgin, or whoever's listening, for a little miracle. But then a group of kids shows up and recognizes him. They say their grandma told them he's the guy who thinks out loud, and wonder if he's about to drop some deep existential quote. Harry's not in the mood, so he shoos them away and keeps walking around the island until he reaches a lighthouse. From there, he hears someone singing. When he looks up, he sees a blonde girl humming a tune. He talks to her, and the girl replies with a mugyu. Harry has no clue what that means, but he goes with the flow and asks what she's doing up there. She explains she's on a personal quest, trying to find herself and understand her purpose. Pretty deep stuff, or at least she's trying. Harry, being himself, tells her that if she's planning on jumping, she should at least do it with some flair. The girl tells him she's not going to die, that she's actually invisible. Harry corrects her. You mean invincible? But nope, not that either. He figures she's just a bit messed up in the head and tells her she should probably get down before she actually gets hurt. Right then, a message blasts over the loudspeakers calling him to City Hall, like he's in high school and got summoned to the principal's office for messing around. When he gets there, he's greeted by the infamous Naked Hunter. She points her gun at him and tells him to stop calling her that. Her name is Mickey. She also shows off her weapon, which isn't just any random gun. It's called Hydro Gladiator 2, though from now on, we're calling it the Tehuacanator. Also, there is the naked dude from the other day. His name is Ryoichi. Both greet Harry and tell him they've got a sweet welcome party planned for him that night. Harry tries to weasel out of it, saying he's not planning on staying, that he only came to help his grandma, even though he's done jack since he arrived. But they explain that the island has a tradition of throwing a party for anyone who stays more than 3 days. So he's in. He accepts, not like he has anything better to do. And they mention that someone named Tenzin is still missing, up in the mountains. They ask Harry to go find him. Harry finds the guy in a warehouse doing sit-ups while hanging upside down like a bat. They end up playing a game of ping pong on some old table lying around. Harry scores 1 point, and Tenzin immediately takes it seriously, calls him a worthy opponent, and says now he'll go all out. Like Rock Lee, he takes off his wrist weights, ready to get wild. But right then Mickey shows up and tells them everyone's waiting. As they walk back, Tenzin asks Mickey who the guy he was playing with was. They all end up at the same restaurant from day one, because apparently there are no other options on the island, and there, they officially welcome Harry. Even though they said it was a party, it's really more of a small gathering of 5 people. The 3 who planned it are there, plus one more friend they introduced to Harry, Ao. Yep, the same girl who was groping herself under the tree. The others realize they already know each other and get curious. Since when have they met and under what circumstances? But both dodge the topic like pros. Then Harry flips the question and asks them who they are and what their deal is. Turns out they're in charge of the island's youth group, which sounds way too formal for something so empty. There are barely any young people on the island. While that's being said, Tenzin starts shaking a chicken leg like he's testing its aerodynamics or about to throw it like a shuriken. Harry asks about Shiroha and why she wasn't invited. Everyone's surprised he knows her and explains that she's not exactly sociable, more like shy. Ao, meanwhile, takes the chance to warn him not to do any of his nasty business with her. But it's too late. Harry's already made her uncomfortable, and Ao picks up on that fast, even if he pretends otherwise. In short, they did invite her, but the poor girl never showed up. The next morning, Umi heads out super early for her radio calisthenics, whatever the heck that is. Before leaving, she tells Harry she left him breakfast and just asks him to clean up after himself. I mean, if he's not gonna help with anything at Grandma's house, he could at least wash his damn dish. Harry, as usual, heads out to keep exploring the island, but the heat gets to him and he stops by a small shop. There, a super nice old lady offers him a shaved ice to cool off a bit. He buys it and sits outside on a bench to eat it, but the lady tells him not to be a dummy. It's hell out there. She invites him inside where there's a nice fan that'll make him feel way better. He listens, but then starts poking around like it's his house and ends up walking into a back room. And guess what? He walks in on a girl, changing. Surprise! It's Ao. Harry pretends to freak out and, in his panic, hurls the shaved ice straight at her butt. Naturally, Ao doesn't let that slide and demands an explanation for why the hell he was spying on her. Harry apologizes and swears it was all an accident. Of course, Ao doesn't buy it, because come on, who just barges into a room, unannounced, right when a girl's changing, and throws a shaved ice at her butt by accident? Yeah. No way. He tries to explain that the ice thing was a complete coincidence and that he goes to an all-boys school. Nothing but screws everywhere, so when he saw a bolt, his brain just short-circuited. According to him, he tried to cover her, but the only thing he had on hand was the shaved ice. And yeah, it landed right on her butt. Ao is obviously not falling for that story. Then Harry asks why the hell she's half naked in a store and if it's some weird fetish. Ao, already exhausted from this genius, explains she works there and was just changing into her uniform. Now poor Ao is left with soaked panties and syrup-covered cheeks. Harry, realizing his mistake, apologizes again and offers to let her get revenge by throwing a shaved ice on him. She gladly accepts, so they head outside and Ao dumps the whole thing on his head. But since Harry's a sore loser, he throws a snowball back at her. Thus begins the Great Shaved Ice War. Ao's not going down without a fight and launches more ice his way, and he fights back, all while the poor shopkeeper hears her products being tossed around like it's a food fight. After the battle, Harry's soaked and takes off his shirt to wring it out. Right at that moment, a shot from the Tewakanator comes out of nowhere, and Mickey's voice blares over the loudspeakers, ordering him to get dressed immediately. That woman really takes her mission of keeping the island nudity-free seriously. When he gets home, Harry takes a shower to be presentable for the evening, since he plans to head out again. He tells Kyuko, and she gives him the green light, tells him to go have fun. After all, he's got a sugar aunt supporting him, but she also warns him his free ride's about to end, and soon she's putting him to work. That's what he came for. Harry had completely forgotten he even had a mission on the island, but now he tries to act all deep and says he's actually on a journey of self-discovery, like that chick at the lighthouse. What a poser. Then he gets all contemplative and stands in front of the sea, trying to be philosophical, but surprise! Shiroha is already there. She's starting to seem more like a ghost than a person, only showing up when he's alone. She asks what he's doing, and he says nothing, just wandering, like that's not literally all he's been doing since he got there. Then he tells her he saw her on the first day, when he got off the boat. Shiroha immediately gets defensive, cause that sounded kinda stalkery, but he clarifies that he saw her looking out at the sea and asks what she was watching. She, apparently with photographic memory, replies that she was looking at two birds on the water. So, yeah, not exactly thrilling, not sure what was more boring, the question or the answer. Then she asks why he came to the island. Harry says he doesn't even remember, doesn't want to admit the real reason behind his paid vacation. Then it clicks. Boom! He remembers. He came because life in the city was overwhelming, like time was slipping through his fingers. You know, the same thing everyone feels before taking a vacation, but he sells it like it's a full-on existential crisis. He then asks Shiroha what her favorite summer was. She says one from when she was a child, and that gives Harry the perfect excuse to drop another deep thought. He says life was easier when you were a kid, just running around, surrounded by friends and family, being the center of the world with no speeches or worries. That ever since he came to the island, it feels like those days are coming back, though really, it's just cause he does nothing and lives like a freeloader. Then Shiroha asks why he said that thing about broken wings, cause apparently Grandma's been spreading that around the island. Harry realizes maybe he's being too dramatic, and tells her it was just a metaphor, that he's been through stuff that's hurt him, and now he can't fly anymore. Shiroha looks at him, thinks for a second, and hits him with a, "You dramatic-ass loser."